The sky was painted in shades of molten gold and crimson as evening settled over the floating city of Dracora. From her apartment high above the bustling markets, Kalira, a dragon woman of formidable size and radiant sapphire scales, stared at her reflection in the glass. Her horns curved gracefully backward, her wings folded neatly, and yet, for all her majestic presence, there was a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. Tonight was supposed to be a blind date. Not that Kalira had much hope for. Dates were rare for someone like her. Among dragonkind, her reputation as a fierce warrior and accomplished diplomat often intimidated potential companions. Still, she had agreed, after much insistence from her human friend Lyra, who had promised that this match would be perfectly compatible. The restaurant, the Celestial Hearth, was an exclusive sky-high eatery, suspended above the city's neon-lit streets. Kalira arrived early, her wings folding behind her as she descended the ramp to the reserved table. She looked around. Soft lanterns swayed in the breeze, and the aroma of roasted spacefish mingled with herbs from distant planets. The table was set for two, but the other seat remained empty. Minutes passed, and then an hour. Kalaras, patience already strained by human social conventions, began to fray. She tapped a claw against the table, listening to the muted city hum below. Finally, she summoned the waiter, a slight alien with 6 delicate arms, and asked, "Where is he?" "The man I was to meet." The waiter glanced at her nervously. I'm afraid he has not arrived. The message says he is." Kalira's jaw tightened. "Late, more than that," the waiter said softly. "He's delayed. There's a message, though. It was just handed to me." He extended a small, shimmering holopad. Kalira took it, expecting perhaps an apology. Instead, she saw a video feed flicker to life. 2 small human children appeared on the screen. Their eyes were wide, bright, and eerily identical twins, no older than 8. The girl on the left spoke first. "Our father is sorry for being late," she said simply, with an earnestness that made Kalira pause. The boy next to her nodded in unison, their tiny faces serious. He wanted to come himself, but something happened. "We thought you should hear it from us." Kalira's massive claws trembled slightly as she lowered the holopad. Her heart, normally armored against sentiment, skipped. "To children," she murmured to herself, delivering an apology. Curiosity overcame frustration. "Where are they now?" She asked the waiter. "They are waiting outside, Madame," he replied. "They insisted on meeting you." Kalira's wings flexed nervously. Normally, dragon women did not tolerate surprises, especially not ones involving human children. But something in their tone, the unshakable calm in their small voices, made her hesitate. With a graceful motion, she left the table, descending the spiral staircase that led to the city promenade. The twins stood just where the holopad had indicated, hands clasped tightly. The boy's gaze lifted to meet hers, unwavering. The girl stepped forward. "Our father is very sorry," she said again. "He was supposed to meet you, but he was delayed. We were told to explain." Kalira crouched slightly to meet them at eye level, her wings folding protectively behind her. "And who is your father?" The children exchanged a glance. The girl's voice was calm, confident. "He is your blind date. His name is Alaric. He tried to come, but something stopped him. He didn't want you to wait without knowing why." Kalira blinked. "Alaric is a human. Yes, the boy said, nodding vigorously. A very good human. He wanted to meet you more than anything. Kalira's heart softened in a way it hadn't in centuries. She had faced entire armies, negotiated peace treaties, and even stood against rogue warlords. But here, in the honest eyes of two small children, she felt an unfamiliar pang of empathy. And you came here to speak for him? The girl nodded. Yes, he asked us to. Kalira exhaled, a puff of violet smoke escaping her nostrils in surprise at her own reaction. She had expected excuses, perhaps a perfunctory apology. But the human, through his children, had shown accountability and care, a trait rare among both humans and dragons, she mused. Then she said finally, "Let us not dwell on lateness. You have my attention, young ones." The children smiled, relieved. And then, as if by unspoken agreement, they scampered to the side and waved. "Father is just inside," they said. "He's waiting." Kalira turned, and her eyes fell upon him. Alaric stood in the doorway of a nearby cafe, slightly disheveled but smiling nervously. He carried an air of humility and determination that somehow matched the twins' demeanor. When their eyes met, she felt a strange warmth, a connection forged not by grandeur or power, but by simple, honest intent. She approached him, "So, you are the human who failed to show up on time," she said, though the edge in her voice was gone. Alaric bowed slightly, his hands extended in a gesture of respect. "I am deeply sorry," he said, "but I sent my children ahead because I could not bear to leave you waiting without explanation. They speak for me because I could not arrive in person sooner." Kalira's gaze softened. "They have a way of speaking truth, these children, and it seems you've raised them well." Alaric smiled, relief and pride flickering across his features. "Thank you. I wanted to show you that I respect your time and your presence. It's not often one meets a dragon woman like you." The twins giggled, breaking the tension. "He really wanted to meet you," the boy said, tugging at her cloak playfully. Kalira allowed herself a smile. For the first time in decades, she felt a spark of genuine amusement. The human's effort, the children's honesty, it was refreshing. In their simple, sincere way, they had bridged a gap she had thought impossible to cross. "Very well," she said, her voice calm but tinged with amusement. "Let us sit. If you can apologize through your children, I suppose you can endure a conversation in person." Alaric led her back to the restaurant. The twins took seats beside their father, their hands occasionally brushing against Kalira's massive claws, a gesture both brave and endearing. Conversation flowed easily. Alaric shared stories of his work as a human engineer, his fascination with interspecies diplomacy, and his relentless curiosity about dragon. Kalira, in turn, shared tales of battles fought, alliances forged, and cities saved. The human children listened, wide-eyed, chiming in with questions that were both innocent and insightful. As the night deepened, Kalira realized that something extraordinary had happened. The blind date, initially empty and frustrating, had become an experience she would remember forever, not for the human's punctuality, but for the effort, honesty, and heart shown by both father and children when they finally left the restaurant. The city's lights glittering below, Kalira felt a strange lightness. She had expected a conventional meeting, perhaps polite conversation. Instead, she had encountered something far rarer, genuine connection. The twins waved at her, their smiles shining. "We're glad you understand," the girl said softly. Kalira nodded, her massive wings stretching behind her. I do. And you've reminded me that even the smallest voices can carry the greatest truths. As they disappeared into the night, Alaric beside them, Calliera realized that humans, and perhaps even small, determined children had a resilience and sincerity that dragons often overlooked. And in that moment, she felt a spark of hope that, perhaps, a future shared with such beings was not only possible but profoundly promising. The blind date, she mused as she soared into the sky, had been empty, until it was filled with something far more remarkable: trust, effort, and the unexpected warmth of two small humans who had spoken truth to a dragon's heart. Asterisk.